What's up, guys? Welcome back to the vlog, and today we are back on the SV. As I promised you guys, I'm gonna try to get as many vlogs on the motorcycle as I can this summer, and hopefully you guys will be there with me for the ride. But today's video, as you can probably already tell by the title, is why I love sports bikes and why I ride sports bikes. Now, don't get this twisted and don't take this the wrong way. This is not why sports bikes are better or why sports bikes are the best, because that's not the video I'm making. I'm telling you why I personally, oh shit, I'm not used to that new camera there, guys. The new camera sticks out a little bit differently than the old one. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to smack you on the face, but this is personally why I myself like sports bikes and why I've been riding sports bikes my entire career of riding, and why I will continue to ride sports bikes for a long time. And basically, yeah, that's what this video is going to be about. But if you guys are new to the channel, then definitely, hopefully you guys stick around. Hopefully we see you guys in the coming vlogs. But this is my 2017 SV650. I have been riding this guy, or this girl I should say, since about 2018. So this is going to be my 2018, 2019, this is going to be my 5th year. And I still love this bike. I honestly have a great time riding it. I enjoy it a lot. I don't plan on switching out anytime soon. So yeah, this is definitely my favorite machine that I've owned so far. And I actually really enjoy having the raised handlebars, or like the different style. I used to have clip-ons on my first bike. I had a CBR 250R, and that was fun. I love that bike, and I love the riding position of that bike. But the only thing is, I have had back problems since I've been in high school. I'm 6'1", and I've always had lower back problems. So riding that bike was fun, but I couldn't do it for long periods of time. Ever since I got my SV650, I can go on longer rides. I don't have pain after I ride, and it's just a more neutral riding position. Like, your arms are basically in front of you at the same angle they would be if you were sitting in like a chair or something like that. They're not very high up. They're just below your chest, pretty much in the abdomen area, and it feels great. I love having my arms at a neutral position like that. You don't feel strained. Your arms kind of just rest on the bars and you don't really feel the weight of your arms. And when you have clip-ons, the difference is you're leaning on the bars basically most of the time. So you have a lot of pressure on your wrists because you're sitting a lot lower like this, and you usually have a lot more pressure on your wrists. You're usually leaned over, and it just creates a bit more strain on your back, on your arms. It's just a lot more intensive, or rider intensive riding position when you ride a super sport or a full sport with a clip-on bar. Now, I love this style bar. Even though I want to get myself a Gixxer or like a CBR RR, I honestly think I would put on something like this. Either I would get the risers for the clip-ons, or I would put on something like this. And it definitely does change the handling characteristics because you're sitting differently, so your body is positioned a little bit differently, so the weight of yourself is affecting the bike differently. So sitting up straight is nice. I actually enjoy it a lot. You can still tuck in if you really want to, and you can kind of lean over and have that aggressive riding position if you want, but it's nice for just cruising around and going on longer rides to be able to sit neutrally and up straight. Now, that's not to say that when you ride a chopper or a cruiser that you don't sit up straight. You definitely do, but it's a totally different riding experience. It's a totally different riding position. It's just a different way of riding. Like, when you're sitting on a cruiser, they are a lot lower to the ground, so you don't take turns in the same style. You don't lean the bike as much. You definitely can, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking cruisers. You can definitely whip a cruiser around some corners, but it's not the same riding style. It's definitely not the same riding position. Even this, compared to a super sport, the riding style is completely different because it has a different size tire, it's a wider tire, you're sitting a little bit differently. Everything is just different. I don't know how else to say it, but that's basically what it is. And the reason I don't ride cruisers is I love the riding position on these. For me, it reminds me of when I used to ride BMX bikes and when I used to ride mountain bikes. It's the same kind of position. You can still whip the bike around. It's very nimble. I feel like I can honestly throw this bike around almost as well as I could throw around my bicycle back in the day, or I still ride a bicycle, but that's besides the point. Honestly, these things feel great. I love sports bikes and the way they ride, and compared to a cruiser, which I have driven a couple cruisers, I just really prefer the way that these are more nimble and just more sporty, and that's why they're called sports bikes. And I just enjoy the riding position and the feel of it. Now, to each his own. So you have to go out there and test everything before you actually commit. And what I would recommend is finding yourself a riding school or a place that does a rider training course that has different bikes, that offers you the different styles of bikes. The riding training course that I took before I got my first license was a school that offered you a sports bike, a cruiser, a dirt bike, and a standard bike. Now, if you don't know what a standard bike is, it's more like a cafe racer or just a regular bike, like what you would think of like an old school motorcycle from like the 60s. That's basically what they call a standard bike. So this is actually classified as a sports / standard bike if you look at the SV650. So that's why the insurance is great on these. But definitely that's the difference. It's just a different riding position. You have a different seating position. It's a totally different experience. It all depends on yourself and how you want to ride. So I would honestly tell you, at least go sit on the different bikes if you can't ride the different bikes, but please go out and experience them so you can see for yourself what you prefer, because you don't want to end up with something that you don't want to ride. Now, another reason that I like sports bikes, I should say, is I just love the way they look. They honestly appeal to my eye a lot more. I honestly just love the way they look, and I love the way they sound. There's a lot more options in engines as far as configurations, I would say. If you go for a cruiser, most of the time they're going to be a V-twin. You can get different types of configurations. Now, I am riding a V-twin right now, but personally, I would love to have an inline 4. I love the sound of those. I love that you can rev them to the sky. Those things rev, depending on your bike, you can have them rev anywhere from 17,000 or 16,000 all the way up to the 20s, 22 I've seen. So really it depends on the bike and the motor that you have in it, but I feel like there's a lot more options and a lot more variations when you go into the sports bike world, and you also get a lot more options as far as bikes, I think, in my opinion, because you can buy a super sport, you could buy a sport, you could buy all kinds of different versions of the same bike. Take a Ninja, for example. If you buy a Ninja 650 or you buy a Ninja 650, the actual super sport, it's a totally different bike, even though they look very similar on paper. Totally different machines, and you have to just ride them to experience them, and you have to honestly just go out and do your research, but find the one that's right for you. For me personally, I love the SV. I love the way it rides. I love the power band on it, and I wouldn't change a thing about it. I think that this is one of the bikes that's going to stay in my garage for probably a good time. The longest time that I could think of out of any bike that I've kept is this bike, and it's probably going to stick around for a very long time because it's a great machine. It rides great. It has a good power band. I love the seating position on it. A lot of people complain that it's a hard seat, but it's not that bad, honestly. After you ride it for a while and you break it in, it's not that bad. I honestly don't have an issue with it, and yeah, that's all I have to say about the seat. But the other things that I love about sports bikes are just honestly, like the variations on them. Like, you can get so many different colors and designs. Not that you can't get different colors and designs of choppers and cruisers and things like that, but it's just, I feel like there's a lot more options. That's just mainly it. Now, don't get me wrong, you can definitely whip a chopper. I have a few buddies that have choppers, and they throw those things around like nobody's business. You can still do wheelies, you can still do all the crazy shit you've wanted to do, but it's just to each his own. It's whatever you prefer. It's whatever appeals to you. I always tell people, even that people that want to get a bike that's different than the bike that I have, I always tell them, honestly, get the bike that appeals to you more, because whatever bike you get, as long as it's the one you really want, you'll enjoy it more, you'll like it more, you'll want to ride it more, and it'll be that much more of a better experience of ownership for you than buying a bike that you don't enjoy as much but you think will be a better bike on paper. Buy the one that your heart wants. Buy the one that you really want, that your eye catches your eye, that really appeals to you. And yeah, that's all that I can really say about that. Like, look at that thing. How could you not love how that looks? I honestly that's the one thing that always appealed to me about the sports bikes, was the way they look, especially when you get a nice tail tidy. Looks even better once you get yourself some sleek signals and possibly even remove the license plate and tuck it right up in there. But look at that. Isn't that beautiful, guys? How could you argue with that? And there we go. We snapped a couple pictures for Instagram and for the thumbnail. If you guys already don't follow me on Instagram, then definitely jump over there. I usually post things a lot sooner on there in my story and just overall. So if you guys want to stay up to date and catch all the latest on what I'm up to, then definitely jump onto my Instagram, and the link is always in the description of my video. Now, ever since last time, from when I first took the bike out and I was getting that one-off where it was telling me I was in second gear but I was in first gear, and then I'd switch to second, it would still say I was in second. Now every time I come to a stop and I go to drop it into neutral, I kind of get scared to see if it's actually in neutral. So far so good, it's always been okay, but it trips me out a little bit, making me think it's always going to be in a gear, and if it's been messing up lately, then who knows, right? And that's one thing I would recommend for anybody on any bike, is always stay vigilant, always watch everyone around you. As you guys saw right there, the guy in that black Honda, I think it was a Honda, he had his signal on. And if I trusted him and I thought, yeah, he's gonna turn, I could have went for it, but that would have been a bad mistake. And I've seen a lot of videos where guys are riding their motorcycle, they're riding, and then a guy will come out of nowhere and like cut them off, and they'll ride into the back of him, or they'll get taken out, and they won't be going fast, they'll be going like 40, 50, 60, and I'm thinking, like, are you really like blind? Like, when you're riding a motorcycle, keep your eyes on, or keep your head on a swivel, keep your eyes everywhere. Don't look in front of you just where you're going. Look at where he's going, look at where that guy's going, look at where 3 guys behind that guy turning are fucking going. Like, you honestly, watch your mirrors, watch everything, watch people on bicycles. Like, I don't know how else to say it, but you better know what people are gonna do before they do it. And luckily enough for me, if you guys have watched my videos for a couple years, then you've seen I've got into some really hairy situations where people have come into my lane, trucks have cut me off, people have just stopped, people have turned, no signal. Like, this guy will just turn into a driveway going at full fucking speed. Like, all kinds of crazy shit happens out there. So I'm telling you, I would have died like a dozen times if I wasn't vigilant and I wasn't watching myself. Don't trust anybody on the road. Nobody. Like, I've seen a video where a guy's in a parking lot on a chopper with his mom, and he goes, okay, love you, have a good day, and she goes, love you, son, ride safe, and she plows into the guy at the light. She knocks him off his bike goes flying, he's on his ass, and he goes, mom, are you kidding? Like, oh man, if I can find the clip, I'll insert it right here, right now. But like, yeah, are you kidding me? People are nuts, man. Don't trust anybody, not even your own mother behind the wheel. I'm sorry to say it like that, but like, yeah, don't trust anybody. Be vigilant, always be ready, always have an escape route. Like, you see how I look like I'm really close, but I've got a whole bike and a half length. So if I need to, I can dip right out of here. I could go around this guy and get the fuck out of here if something behind me looked kind of sketchy. So that's another thing. Like, no matter what bike you get, make sure you get a bike that you're comfortable on, that you're happy riding, that you know, and get to know your bike. Just more time in the seat is the best mod that anybody can do on any motorcycle or any car or anything. More time behind the wheel or in the seat or whatever you're riding or driving, That's the best mod you can honestly ever do, is more time, more experience. And like, I've been riding since about 2014. That's when I first got my license, when I first got my motorcycle. And I've been making videos since about 2017 on my motorcycle. And yeah, like, I've enjoyed it. I've honestly had a great time doing it. I'm gonna be doing it either way, so I figured why not take you guys along for the ride with me and just share my experiences and my thoughts. No time do I claim to be an expert in anything. Do I claim to know more than anyone else? I'm just sharing with you guys my thoughts and my experiences and what I think and what I've gone through. And some people can agree, some people don't agree. That's just the way life goes. And I don't know what you're doing. Oh, people over there stopped, I see. Couldn't see around you there, big boy. But yeah, that's one thing. Like, even though I'm talking to you guys and I have my mind on something else, my mind is always on what's going on around me. My mind is always, I'm always keeping my eyes peeled. But that's basically it. That's the best advice I can give you guys. Buy a bike that you really like. Buy something that really appeals to you, because you'll like it more, you'll ride it more, you'll enjoy it more, and you'll be a better rider for it. And go out and get yourself just the best gear that you can afford. If you can afford yourself the cheap stuff, get the cheap stuff. At least you have gear. If you can afford the more expensive stuff, get the more expensive stuff. But at the end of the day, just make sure that you go out and you're comfortable out there, and you're not actually trying to ride something that's too powerful or whatever. Because I know a lot of guys, they'll go out and buy a bike that's way out of their league, and those are the guys that have a lot of problems. So take it easy, learn slow. I started on a 250 and work your way up there, because that's just how it is. When you're a little kid, you don't go and get a 21 speed bike as your first bike, or maybe some people do, but you start off on a little bike and you get a bigger bike, and then one day you have a big bike. Like, that's how it works. That's how it works with these too. And you can see, like, no matter what people ride, everybody on the road that has a bike gives each other respect. We always say hi to each other. All bikers respect each other. I don't care if you're a Harley rider, or if you're a Suzuki rider, or if you're a Honda rider. Everybody respects each other out here on the road. Even if you're riding a fucking Goldwing, like, people don't care. Like, you're just out here to have a good time, man. So don't try to impress anybody with your bike choice. Get the bike that you like for yourself and that you're gonna enjoy. And I live in Southern Ontario, here near Toronto. So lately we've been in the middle of a heat wave, and it has been beautiful. If you know me, I love the hot weather. I would live in Arizona or California in a heartbeat. I want it hot every single day. Like, I love it. Some people hate it, I love it. I would rather take boiling my ass off every single day and sweating my ass off for no reason, just sitting in a chair, than one day of winter. I would honestly do it every single day. But as you can see, it looks kind of stormy. Today is the first day that we've had a break, or we've had a little bit of relief from the heat. And obviously, when that happens, it usually rains. So we are probably gonna get some rain. So that's why I'm gonna have to cut this video a little bit short. What are you doing, my guy? So that is why I'm gonna have to pretty much end off the video. I'm gonna start heading home now, and I don't wanna really get too wet, because that's no fun. So yeah, hopefully my video helped you guys out. I know a lot of new riders watch my stuff. I know a lot of experienced riders watch my stuff, and a lot of you guys are way more experienced than me. So please chime in, let me know why you guys love the bikes that you ride, so that other people that are looking and want to decide for themselves have a little bit more backstory and knowledge and a little bit more experience, because maybe you guys have something different to say than what I've said. So I always enjoy your guys' input. So hopefully you guys will be here for the next video. If you guys are new around here, jump down there, hit that subscribe button. It's totally free, it costs you nothing, and I've got tons more content coming your way, guys. So thank you for watching, thank you for sticking around. Hopefully I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, guys, ride safe out there. Peace.